Try, the CEO at Aurionpro Solutions, is joining us on the show to talk to us about that. Ashish, hi, good to be speaking with you. Why don't you begin by telling us what this acquisition really means for the company, what could it really bring on table, and what kind of revenue accretion you envisage from this one?
Okay, yeah, thank you for having me. This acquisition that we talked about, look, over the last few years, we've said this on your channel as well. We've been building out a global products and platforms player, very sharply focused on a few verticals. The primary ones being banking and financial services and insurance for us, where we have a leading position when it comes to provisioning of the enterprise software in that space. So what we are looking at doing together with Arya.ai is bring together what is going to be a world-class enterprise application capability together with Arya.ai's mature and very, very strong enterprise AI offerings specifically targeted to banks and insurers. So that is essentially what the aim is, as all of us have seen over the last couple of years, right? I think we are going through probably one of the most fundamental platform shifts when it comes to at least the technology space, probably not since the sort of time of internet
Ashish,
and all that.
Ashish, I can see that in the entire ecosystem, when we speak to largest financial institutions in the banking side, insurance and many others, there is a very clear focus on very speedy adoption of AI in their processes, be it dispensing the service or within their own processes internally. I want to understand, where does this acquisition fit in your application? Where is the biggest demand? If you can specifically tell us what kind of clients will be utilizing this application for.
Yeah, so look, I think one side and where you see a lot of hype, of course, is the Gen AI. There's a lot of investment obviously going on into foundation models, into large language models, etc., which is one side of what is happening. But what we have seen over time is as we go through this hype cycle, we see the movement happening to the actual workflows where enterprises use applications like from Aurionpro and for other places in terms of orchestrating their actual business processes. Right? That's where most of the value creation happens for the enterprises. Hence, most of the value capture happens for software vendors like us. Right. So the idea is to essentially bring together AI capabilities to every point of the workflow, right? So if you look at a typical enterprise application, for example, you've got some sort of a front end, then you've got a workflow where a lot of decisions get made by the business. Can we really bring together at every decision point of the workflow what is an appropriate model for the enterprise, whether it's a fully autonomous agent, whether it's a predictive model, whether it's a mix of rule-based and an ML framework that sort of catches up over time, right? So essentially, the idea is to really beyond just the Gen AI side of offerings, which is obviously useful to some extent, and actually move to the mission critical orchestration of the workflows where actual work gets done. For example, lending, for example, in the insurance space, and be able to really offer most of that in a consumption sort of API-led model, right? So that's essentially what we are doing.
That makes sense, but I just wanted to come to the financials a bit as well, Ashish, because I was going through your presentation. While the revenue CAGR has been impressive between 25 to 30%, margins have been just around that 22% band. Talk to me about the future there, both in terms of margin as well as growth rate.
Yeah, so we've said this on the channel before as well. I think, what we've said is the economics improves over time as the products scale. But the size of opportunities in front of us, Anisha, is so large that we are also sinking in a lot of money into R&D in terms of creating new products. So what we'll try and do as we go over the next 2-3 years, at least that's what we said earlier as well, is that we'll try to keep earnings EBITDA at between 20 and 22%, and as the economics improves, pour the excess back into R&D. So come out with more newer offerings for banks, insurers, for the wide spectrum for customers, right? So in terms of growth, we've been at between 30-35%. That's what we've been tracking on this while, and EBITDA between 20 and 22. And that sort of translates to between 15 and 16 on the back. So those are the broad numbers.
Ashish, recently you've done a QIP where we see some marquee guys have either added or have checked in. I want to understand what is the messaging you gave for your, raising your money to the investors on a beyond quarter to quarter view, next 2 to 3 years, such as the gaps which you may have in your business model, the way you are integrating elements such as this acquisition which you've done. What is the bigger picture you're trying to draw out there, which may start showing results in next 2 to 3 years?
Okay, yeah. So Ajay, I think the idea is to build out a global products and platforms player, right? You haven't seen many really mature world scale, global scale enterprise software businesses or technology businesses out in Asia. We intend to be, or in India, and we intend to be one of those. Our stated Vision 2030 ambition is to be a top 3 global player in each of our chosen spaces, and we are making, over the last few years, you've seen we've been growing at 35% or so, and we've been making progress towards that. Obviously, it's a very long road. We don't give out sort of forward guidances that far out, so I'm not going to give specific numbers, but that is the stated ambition for each of the places we are in, be a top 3 global player. Each of these segments is the double-digit billion segment. We have over time proven that we are able to build absolute tier 1 world-class IP. If you look at where our products are rated on Chartis Risk Check, our wins out in US, our wins out in rest of Asia as well. So, slowly we've proven that we are able to build out globally competitive products, and we will keep pushing towards becoming that top 3 global player in each of the segments we are in.
Before I let you go, wanted to understand, I think you had received an in-principle approval to set up the payments aggregator business as well. What's been the update there?
Yeah, so I think we got the in-principle approval, as you said. We're working through all the operational requirements in terms of, what is needed from the regulator, and I think we will be making progress on it. We will get the decision from the regulators as and when they decide to do something about it. The goal is to fit the capability into our wider capability around transit payments and B2B payments. We have the solution stack already in play. We are really prominent player when it comes to transit payments as well as B2B payments. So we're waiting for the regulator to communicate to us the decision, but we keep making progress on the operational side of things.
Yeah, Ashish, on that note, we let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. Quickly